The Sadducees believed that when someone dies, that is the end. You know, there are many questions we ask about the resurrection or after death. Like, when I die, am I going to meet her? Is he still going to marry me? What is going to happen when I die? What about my husband that already passed away? Is he still going to love me when I see him in heaven? Most of these questions, some of them, the answers are no. And some of them, the answers are yes. For instance, you are expecting your husband to marry you again in heaven. That is not going to be possible. And that is what Jesus says here. There is not going to be marriage or giving in marriage. But the good news is that if your husband loved you on this earth, your husband is still going to love you, but that love is not going to be the type of love in this world. That love is going to be transformed. It's going to be divinized. That love is going to be Christ-like love. And that love is not going to die. It's going to stay forever. Jesus says to them, just as God spoke from the burning bush to Moses, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I am not the God of the dead, but God of the living. That shows that when we die, what happens is a transformation. It's not the end. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they died, but they still live. They are still alive. Am I going to see my husband or my wife? It depends. Because if that's your friend, that's your husband, or that's your wife, did not make it to heaven, that is a problem. I don't think you're going to see him or her. And that's why we need to pray for all souls. And also for yourself. If your husband or your wife lived a good life, and he or she is in heaven now, and we are not living a good life on earth, how are you going to see him or her? It is impossible. So both of you have to live a good life. Everything is going to be transformed. No marriage, no giving in marriage. In marriage, we say that there is a primary purpose of marriage, which is procreation or giving birth to children. God says, go and multiply. If there is no procreation in this world, the world is going to end. What about if everyone dies and there is no procreation? The world is going to end. But in heaven, there is no procreation because no one dies. No one dies in heaven. That is why Jesus says they will be like angels. They will be like angels, which means they will not die again. And again, being like angel doesn't mean that you will be an angel, because angels are different types of being. They are not like us. Being like someone doesn't mean that you are that person. Resembling someone doesn't mean that you are that person. So being like angels means that we're not going to die again. We have hope after this life.